I'm Sergio Sanchez. We're broadcasting this morning from the offices of Brownsville Economic Development. Gilbert Salinas joining me right now from BEDC. Thanks for hosting us this morning, brother. They have a big announcement coming up at 10:30 in the morning. The Europeans are coming, and they're bringing lots of money. In the end, this project that you announced at 10:30, how many jobs do you think it's going to create?
Thanks, Sergio. And yes, it's a major development with the potential to create 300 jobs over a 10-year period. But really, once you look at it from the long term, you're looking at about 3,000 to 4,000 jobs from a set of different companies. And this is the first major piece of the puzzle, or if I could use this term, stone for what we're building, a cathedral-type building.
It is. We've been referring to it as heavy manufacturing, the first of this type of heavy manufacturing that we've ever seen, at least on this side of the border. I mean, I know that we're doing heavy manufacturing in Mexico. They're always building cars and components down there, but kind of nice to see that finally north of the river we're getting something over here.
What we've seen here now is there's a great model that we can use that suppliers can have success moving forward, supplying their OEMs or their counterparts in Mexico not only from the Brownsville area, but from the Rio Grande Valley.
Joining us on 710 KURV, Gilbert Salinas is with Brownsville Economic Development. I'm Sergio Sanchez, and that's where we're broadcasting from right now. There's a major announcement on European investment, manufacturer. What do we call it? A car manufacturer, an implement manufacturer? What do we call it?
It's an advanced manufacturer. What they're going to be doing, they'll start off doing components for the automotive sector, specifically for GM. And then eventually, once the next major component of this project will be the foundry. And that is about a year to maybe even 2 years away. It just depends on global conditions at this moment. And once the foundry comes in, then they'll start doing work for a major earth-moving equipment manufacturer in northern Mexico. At that point, they would be doing the castings for engine blocks and engine heads.
Castings. Dude, we got a steel maker in South Texas. We're going to be molding steel here in South Texas pretty soon. Tim Sullivan, I know he has some questions for Gilbert Salinas. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, Gil, Tim Sullivan here. This European firm you're talking about, and you're just explaining, what they do, a little bit of their manufacturing background. So what will Brownsville's role in this manufacturing be? In past comments you've made, and just listening to what you've said right now, this sounds like this is at the very foundations. This is raw manufacturing that's going to be taking place here.
At the root of it all is going to be steel's going to be coming in one end, and out on the other is going to be components for equipment, for vehicles, for earth movers are going to be used around the world, and it's going to be made in Brownsville, Texas. That in itself is pretty exciting, but the economic impact that it's going to have, I truly cannot tell you what it's going to look like 5 to 10 years down the road. But in the short term, I mean, these 300 jobs, very well-paying jobs. I mean, they're the annual payroll that they'll have just for this particular region, we're looking at about $20 million.
Wow.
Fresh money coming into the area by way of true manufacturing jobs. And then the ripple effect that it'll have, other suppliers following suit, for this particular company, this particular operation. That's why what this is going to develop or help create is the North Brownsville Heavy Manufacturing Campus, where we foresee, the machining operation, vertically integrated with a foundry, and then soon enough would be a forging operation, aluminum die-cast operation, a set of major plastic injection molders. In it would also be a training apprenticeship center to develop and continue keeping a healthy pipeline of workforce for this campus, and then a distribution center as well.
Wow!
And that's where the potential of 3,000 to 4,000 jobs comes in over the next 5 to 10 years.
And why was Brownsville?
I will say that a project like this, usually they set up somewhere and a community builds around it.
Yeah.
In this case, the community, which is the Rio Grande Valley, is already here.
Yeah, you had me at the words industrial park. Tim, I know you had another question. Go ahead,
so,
brother.
why was Brownsville chosen, do you think, Gil, over several other locations that were being considered? What was the key you think, that brought this manufacturing venture to Brownsville?
And if I could add to Tim's question, including Monterrey, Mexico, how did we beat them?
Yeah, they were looking at several, at the very beginning, they were looking at about 30 locations across the Southeast, the Gulf Coast here in the U.S., and also the Gulf Coast in Mexico and northern Mexico. Ultimately, it came down to Brownsville, Texas, and Monterrey, Mexico, and as of this morning, they will be announcing that it's Brownsville, Texas, the lone finalist. What put us over gave us the competitive edge was our access to raw materials, which is steel, coming into the port of Brownsville, our connectivity to northern Mexico by way of highways, our new rail bridge, rail infrastructure, our waterways.
The port, I'm guessing,
and then
it's going to be a lot busier
availability
these days.
of workforce, and then also utilities. I mean, utilities are a lot more affordable on the U.S. side, sometimes 3 more times affordable than on the Mexican side. So we're making a great case of suppliers being able to set up shop on the north side of the Rio Grande to supply major manufacturers, specifically those OEMs that are coming into San Luis Potosí, Monterrey, Mexico, supplying from here, from Brownsville, Texas, and the Rio Grande Valley.
Sounds
Gilbert
like we're going to be
Salinas
helping
from Brownsville
this.
Economic Development. Tim, did you have another question?
I was just going to say, it sounds like we're going to be helping this European firm make vehicles then. Is that basically it?
That's the role that we're going to have in the U.S. or the North American market. When people are driving GM vehicles, trucks specifically, we'll know down here that a major component of that vehicle was made in Brownsville, Texas.
My producer, Fred Cruz, texted me on behalf of a friend. He wants to know when do they start hiring, and how does he put in an application for a friend? So when does that happen?
That's going to happen, I would say, as soon as next week. They'll be getting the word out. We will be helping with that, so definitely log onto our website or follow us on social media, where we'll be posting some of these job announcements.
What sort of background and training would Fred's friend need to have to come into this work?
That's actually a great question, because they're looking for engineers.
I see.
And
Too bad, Fred. You're stuck. You're stuck in radio engineering, babe. Sorry, dude. Yeah, real engineers, man. That's right. And I hear that it was the arrival of Dave & Buster's in McAllen that was the clincher, right? That's what did it. That's what put it over the top, right?
that definitely, made some waves. But I will say on that note that being able to have a company such as SpaceX, being able to close a deal such as SpaceX has opened doors for us like you can't imagine.
Wow.
And a project like this is them coming in and asking us like, hey, so have you all met Elon Musk, and how did you all work that project? It just shows that we can handle, we can play with big boys.
Elon is also producing vehicles, got electric vehicles, and all sorts of other companies. Maybe he could take a look at Brownsville and say, I could set up a factory down there as well. What do you say?
Down the road, if we can make components for his cars, I think we would have the market covered there.
Gilbert, thanks for having us today.